pain that medically elusive evil? What about changing the focus from controlling pain to understanding pain as more than a symptom? Can pain be cheated? My name is Dr. Dean, chiropractor and physiotherapist. My goal is to reframe how medicine understands pain to improve care. This podcast series is dedicated to same-day conservative treatment for low back pain. This podcast has a companion published article number 37. Welcome to the Pain is Not the Only Problem podcast. Article 37. Pain is not the only problem. Game day. These articles intend to reevaluate the prevailing clinical practices thought to manage low back pain, submit and debate novel low back pain contributors and mechanisms, meet patient expectations and satisfaction and clinically meaningful results, recommend a conservative non-surgical course of care to override pain instantly, and restore ADLs and patient confidence on the first visit at low cost. The most important aspect on the first encounter with a low back pain patient is to build the best possible relationship. The best possible relationship is best described as a respectful interaction with the entire patient, including their values and expectations on their terms. This is termed the patient-doctor relationship. The second most important aspect on the first encounter is professional manners and procedures. The doctor, physician, clinician is expected to respect and represent all medical professionals with an example of excellence, acting in a manner that exemplifies the pursuit of science and all human well-being, and to never do harm. Professional manners implies clinical reasoning instead of dogma or routine. The clinician is motivated by early and accurate complete diagnosis and complete treatment success at low cost and with complete patient satisfaction, and the satisfaction is perpetuated. Professional procedures implies a clinical experience that bestows reassurance upon the patient. The clinician offers the expected standard of care established by the industry, not by laziness, lateness, personal bias, financial gain, standardized practice, or ego. The clinician appears to be accessible, introduces relevancy, offers empathy, comfort, and optimism on behalf of the patient. The patient feels welcomed and important. The clinician offers an entire experience for the entire patient. Trust is established easily. The third most important aspect on the first encounter is establishing a complete diagnosis that exemplifies the entire patient at the point in time of the office visit. Clinical reasoning completely explains the contributions and causes for the patient's complaint and incidental findings. The clinician is diligent enough to explore beyond the obvious symptoms, to identify underlying habits, lifestyles, diet, biases, and beliefs of the patient. A diagnosis of pain and the treatment of pain is never the only problem. Finally, on the first encounter, the clinician makes a wholehearted promise to endure the course of care on behalf of the patient's well-being. The doctor will remain a robust, kind, and accessible relationship with the patient. The patient will experience advocacy, knowing that their health is in good hands. The clinician offers a personal guarantee and a personal promise to deliver the expected results. Game day describes a vision of a promise for real care. Game day describes a vision for the promise of real care. Game day establishes the highest possible standard of care for a profession that seeks to gain the confidence of the public. The failed model, known as healthcare, is a for-greed business model that stigmatizes an already crumbling for-profit corporate hubris that serves only shareholders. Wellness is never achieved since the insurers manage covered types of care, leaving clinical experience and expertise for dead. Instead of calling the healthcare system broken, let's call it what it is: crooked. Care should not be considered as affordable based on the cost of insurance rates. It should be affordable in the terms of paid in cash, directly to the clinicians that provide the services. When clinicians can perform their duties of service to their patients, 95% of all sickness, unwellness, and disease is eliminated simply due to lifestyle improvement counseling. Insurance is reserved for incidental trauma and unpreventable disease. The current insurance model includes sickness that is preventable and also premiumable. The game day approach attempts to identify low back pain patients through the lens of lifestyle contribution and lifestyle modification. When the clinician's prescription is lifestyle change and body use modification, offerings like addictive drugs, invasive surgery, and risky injections fade, and the costs associated with them fade. It costs nothing to the patient nor the clinician to identify faulty motor patterns or to give advice for lifestyle change or to improve optimism and motivation. The game day approach works exactly like sports performance. You give your due diligence, train for results, be optimistic, be a team player, and listen to your coach. Low back pain patients complaining of non-specific, non-traumatic episodic symptoms and without progressive neural deficits represents nearly 100% of low back pain office visits and is the number one reason for the visit to the doctor. A visit to the doctor's office is no different than an athlete seeking guidance from their coach. Clinicians are coaches, so are doctors, so are physicians. Coaches with guidance, with optimism, and with solutions. Coaches don't want to be behind a losing team. If your patients are not 100% satisfied, then you are coaching a losing team. Athletes don't want to wait for results. They want to get back into the game today. Clinicians should be using same-day solutions, not delaying diagnosis and floundering in their own confusion. Confused coaches are losing coaches. The game day approach assumes that the patient has a functional disability related to how they use their body at work, at home, or with activities or hobbies. Consider use of commission and/or omission. The clinician focuses on subclinical disabilities related to the subthreshold microtrauma model already discussed. The STMT is evident in a complete history and exam. The patient history is equivalent to an athlete's training program. The way the patient lives and behaves is a training program. Train for function, train for disease, train for injury. Athletes believe in winning and want to win. Patients' habits, biases, and preferences will expose their desire to resolve their complaint. Social, economic, cultural, and emotional contributions are easily related to the complaint. Multi-system examination and workups expose pain generators. Differential diagnosis explains possible somatic mechanisms and functional limitations. The report of findings proposes clinical evidence for the course of care. When the low back pain patient is disinterested in a compliant program for lifestyle and behavior improvement or does not respect the clinical reasoning for conservative care, the clinician must continue to advocate for the patient. Certain patients believe that it is the accountability of outside forces to fix them. However, if the patient is willing to comply, make certain that your clinical program will facilitate a walkthrough and have specific milestones and goals, a workable schedule, checkups and check-ins, and be accessible. Most importantly, prove efficiency at low cost. If you can be a good clinical coach and your patients want to win, game day is good as gold. Game day as a clinical concept is a metaphor for the dedication and determination that athletes embody in order to reach the successes of performance wins. Low back pain patients are no different. They want to win, and they can, when they understand that pain is not the only problem. Thank you for joining me today. Let's advocate for improved patient satisfaction and for the profession. Let's demonstrate a cross-cultural willingness to strengthen medicine. Thank you.